Hey friends, as you might know, I released a gem pity planner yesterday on the channel. If you are unaware, just go check out my videos, you'll find it there. And of course, the most natural question that came after that is, well, how many gems can we plan on? So obviously there's no crystal ball here. There's no way for me to know exactly what the game plans will be or the dev plans. I have no insider information, nothing of that sort. And so I did the next best thing that I could think of, and I went trolling through the internet, through Twitter, through Discord, the whole likes, and I went looking for whatever I could find that referenced how many gems we get. And the good news is, at least from about 2.0 forward, Najox from the community, both on Twitter and in Discord, has pulled together like a gem reward count, if you will, or jewels. I guess they call them jewels in this game. And so I've been working in the background since yesterday, just trying to consolidate these to some extent so that you've got a rough approximation of what you might be able to expect. Now, obviously, I'm not using very definitive language there. Again, I have no idea what they're going to change. And there's just a lot of assumptions that have to be made here. But I think that if we consider this directionally correct and in the neighborhood of what we can expect, that at least it gives you some relative, expectation of what you might want to look for and what you might want to plan for. So with that, I'm going to dive right into the numbers. And as I switch screens here, a like and a sub would help me out, as always, for the good old YouTube algorithms. And let me move my face off of here. So the first thing I want to make sure you know is I'm not taking any credit for this. This is hard work by other community members. So you can see here, designed by Najox. Najox is also Najox P5X on Twitter. I will put links down below. And a lot of the research I did was on the P5X Worldwide Discord. I'll also leave a link to that Discord so that you know where I got this information from. I did not do this myself. So I want to show you what they kind of, demonstrate on their trackers, if you will. And basically it's, for new and returning events, how many tickets, coins, cards, etc. do you get? For recurring content, daily missions, Door of Nightmares, Sea of Souls, all that good stuff. I'm not going to read all this to you. Just pause if you would like, or visit their sites, even better. And then if you're pay to win, there's some extra categories here. So, so much from Amber, so much, for monthly passes, weekly passes, etc. You may be free to play, you may be pay. There's going to be something in between. And then finally, there becomes this, kind of range at the bottom. So for example, for 4.2.1 total, if you are free to play, it's somewhere between 11,155 and 11,305. Or if you exclude tickets and coins, the numbers go down, of course. Who knows if they change how they distribute tickets and coins for us? We have no way of knowing this yet. Pay to win, just different numbers, obviously higher because you're paying. So this is the information that I am, borrowing and giving all credit where credit is due. The other thing I did is, and I don't have it on my screen, but I found a list of character releases with dates. And so let me show you what I actually pulled together here. Not a blank sheet. Let's actually show you the right screen here. And what this is, to orientate you, is I did my best, and this is not perfect. I want you to know this is not perfect, to list the patch, those gem counts from the community. Again, I did not make those myself. If a character limited, or if it's in green, that's a person that goes a standard banner, came out on that patch, when did it release, and how many days was the patch? So for the most part, patches were 2 weeks. I put this off here. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. I can't figure out what the difference is in my data, but obviously something's off with my dates. Again, this is meant to be directionally correct, not perfect. So I just call it out here. And, then they switched to like a 3-week patch cycle, basically after 4.0. So all of this to say, here's your free to play gems. I took the low range. So if I go back to the screen here, on this here, I'm selecting intentionally whatever this lowest value is. This is kind of like the worst case scenario, if you want to call it that. So that's the numbers that I'm pulling for all of my numbers, but I'm putting them in there and I'm saying, okay, here's those numbers for free and pay. And if you take out the tickets and coins like they do on that graphic there, this is what those numbers are. This should hopefully give you, from at least this 2.1 forward, I could not find any information for before patch 2. Whatever as far as counts go. So up until then, we're all blind. This is what those total gems equals. And then this represents 11 months worth of patches. And so I just did a very simple average. If If you want to argue mathematics with me in the comments, feel free. And it amounts to roughly 17,000 free gems when you average it across months. I get that these aren't all equal. Some are 3 weeks, some are not. And then if you're paid, 22,000. And then if you exclude tickets and coins, because who knows what versions of tickets and coins they may or may not give us, the numbers will go down, of course, but I would expect something relative to this, honestly. And so what does that mean? It means if you are free to play, you're going to be underneath a one full 160 pity per content cycle. And if we go back to the pity planner, let me scroll around here, you can see that when you're on the 50-50 160, it takes 24,000 for a unit only, or 14,000 for a weapon. If I switch this later to when we get the 110 pity, it goes to 16 and 14, so better rates at that point in time. But this will get you, around that 110 pity mark, but not the 160 per month, if you look at it that way. If you are pay to play, of course, you're going to have some more leeway there. You're probably going to be in a bit better of a situation. And once the 110 comes out, obviously it's a better situation for all of us in terms of if you have to go to pity. Now, hopefully not every single person you pull on is a pity and you save some gems here and there. I'm crossing my fingers for you, my friends. And then on the side here, I just wanted to note that, unless I missed somebody, I'm pretty sure I got this right, but unless I missed somebody, there's 3 characters that will go standard at this patch series and later. There's other ones that come before then. And that leaves 16 limited characters from the point of this starting and on. Again, I don't have the 1.whatever series patches, but obviously we have a couple limiteds and a couple that go to standard before this even occurs. So hopefully you can take this information. I will add this to my other tracker. I will just put like a second tab. So, I don't know if you have to make a new copy, if it'll just show up. Yeah, actually, you probably have to make a new copy. I'll put this over there just so you have it, but I'm going to put the biggest asterisk disclaimer that it's all subject to change, and I probably made a couple mistakes in here, but I wanted to give you at least something minor that you could, have some reference to. So forgive me for imperfections here. Please don't shoot the messenger. I'm not the one who decides how many gems people get. I'm just trying to present the community with information as I find it to the best of my ability. So my friends, like and sub the video if you wouldn't mind, please, so I can keep getting this information out to people that are looking for it. And with that, please take care of yourselves. I'll see you in our next video or stream.